What's up? Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about should you hire an assistant, how to know if you're ready for one, and how to find one. So stay tuned. Because I think that it's going to be a really good one no matter where you are in your journey as a hairstylist. So maybe you're watching this video and you found this video because you are looking to hire an assistant, or maybe you're watching this video and maybe you're a newer stylist, or you're not even thinking about hiring an assistant, or maybe you're in cosmetology school and you're like, I want to be an assistant. No matter where you are in your journey, I definitely think that you should watch this entire video because it's really going to help you kind of figure out exactly how assisting works, and maybe it will surprise you if you should be ready to hire an assistant. So no matter where you're at, this video is going to be helpful for you. But before we get started, if this is our first time hanging out, my name is Jamie Dana and I help other hairstylists grow their businesses and have businesses that go along with lifestyles they absolutely love. And I'm excited to dive into this topic because this is something that I think a lot of hairstylists don't really know about. It's not a topic that's talked about a lot. And I'll be honest, I was one of those stylists that wasn't sure if I needed an assistant, wasn't sure how to go about it. There wasn't a lot of information out there back when I was looking for an assistant. And so I really wanted to create this video for you to really help you figure out this entire world of assisting. So as we jump into this video, I'm going to be asking you questions that you should ask yourself to help you know if you're ready for an assistant and why having an assistant could really benefit you. So even if you haven't been considering having an assistant up until this point, but you stumbled across this video, I might show you some really great benefits of why you might want to hire an assistant in the near future. And lastly, we'll go into how to actually find an assistant and find a really good one. Plus, I'm going to share with you guys another video that I recorded with one of my old assistants to get you on that journey. But first, let's dive into the questions that you should be asking yourself to answer the question of, should I hire an assistant? So question number one is, are you steadily booked? So I don't think stylists should ever take on an assistant if they're not steadily booked, meaning booked a couple weeks out in advance or even a month out in advance. If you're not booked on the regular, or maybe you have a busy week but then you have a slow week, or maybe you're booked inconsistently, it's probably not time for you to take on an assistant yet. The reason why is you're now responsible for an employee and you want to make sure that you're going to be able to afford them. Nothing's worse than hiring on an assistant and then having to lay them off because you weren't prepared to financially support them. So not that assistants need to be paid tons and tons of money, we can talk about that later, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you are financially stable enough, your clientele is stable enough, so that you're actually ready for an assistant and ready for the responsibility that comes along with that. The second question that I want you to ask yourself is, do you want to double book or do you want to still single book clients? So this is going to be something that comes up with just how you schedule. So for me, when I had an assistant, I would double book my clients, meaning I would start a client's color and during their processing time, I would take another client, whether it's another haircut or I do another client's color at that time. And what my assistant helped me with was blow drying and toning, and we'll get into all of that in just a second. But I personally double booked my schedule because it allowed me to work less, still see the same amount of clients, and still take care of them in a way with my assistant. I am a huge advocate that if you are going to double book, you need to have an assistant. I think stylists that try to double book on their own without assistants tend to get really overwhelmed, they tend to run behind, and they're not giving the best client experience. So maybe you're watching this right now and maybe you currently double book right now without an assistant, or maybe you have a salon assistant that kind of runs around and helps everybody. At the end of the day, I think it's your responsibility to your clients and their experience. They're paying you for a high-end service, that you should be using an assistant and working with an assistant so that they're not having to wait around for you, or they're not having to have a crappy client experience because you just want to get in as many clients as possible. So that's kind of my two thoughts on double booking. But you still can have an assistant even if you're going to single book. And sometimes what assistants can help you with is shampooing, toning, blow drying, all of those things, so you can actually shorten your service time by maybe your assistant finishes up the client and styles them out where you can get on to the next client. So again, this is gonna come down to a personal preference of what you wanna do for you and your clientele. But either way, you just need to make that decision because it will change the way that you adjust your scheduling. Typically bringing on an assistant means that you can take more clients because you're not having to do every service from start to finish by yourself. You have somebody helping you. Even if it means that you tandem blow dry together where you're blow drying one side and they're blow drying the other side, or you're blow drying the front and they're blow drying the back, it's still going to speed things up for you in the long run. And the third question that I want you to ask yourself when you're pondering this question is, are you ready to mentor somebody? So I don't believe that you should ever take on an assistant unless you're ready to train them and mentor them. I don't know if you've had an experience being an assistant or maybe working at a salon with assistants. I don't believe that assistants are just our shampoo people. We definitely want to make sure that we're mentoring them and educating them and training them in the way that we wish that we were brought up ourselves. And so for me, I really took this opportunity to mentor my assistant, train her in the ways that I ran my business, how I booked my clients, how I did my techniques, how I did my processes, how I did everything from taking photos from my Instagram and training her in that way. It was really important to me that I was mentoring them and that they weren't just sweeping up hair and washing my color bowls. I wanted to make sure that they got an education because at the end of the day, they're gonna be a stylist just like you are, and you wanna make sure that you're setting them up for success. So if you don't have the bandwidth or the capacity to mentor somebody and train them in the way that you wish you were trained, then chances are you're probably not ready for an assistant yet because it does take work outside of just having them help you in the salon. You do want to make sure that you're pouring back into them as well. So let's talk about the benefits of having an assistant and why having an assistant can make your life so much easier. So the first thing is they keep you on schedule. So by having an assistant, not only, like I said, are you able to do different services faster, maybe your blow dries are faster, or maybe they blow dry while you're doing something else and then you curl the hair, or vice versa, you blow dry and then they curl the hair. So you're just speeding things up instead of getting behind like we tend to do in the salon. Having an assistant really helps keep you on task, on schedule, and again, it allows your clients to have that great customer experience. They're not sitting around just sitting in a chair waiting for you with dripping hair for 15 minutes because you're finishing something else up or you're doing something else. It keeps you on schedule and it keeps you on task because nothing's worse as a client to sit there and see you working on another client while they're not having anything done to them. So an assistant really, really helps keep you on schedule. The second thing is they can do different services for you. So whether that's maybe you apply the root touch-up and they pull the color through the ends, or you do the entire color service but they're doing the shampoo and the toning at the bowl. Maybe it's things like blow drying or styling the hair out, or whatever the case might look like, they're able to do different services for you, and it again helps you speed up or helps you do different things like working on other clients as you're double booking. The third thing is they really help you stay organized and clean. So they're there to help you tear foils or wash your color bowls or sweep up behind you as you're finishing up a service. You don't have to go grab the broom and sweep up and clean up. That's their job. They're getting you towels. They're draping your clients for you. I always trained my assistants that after we did the consultation with the client, they would watch that because again, that's part of the mentoring and training part. But after that, we would go back and mix up the color in the color bowl area, and then they would bring out my bowls. They would set up my station. They would drape the client. They would add the towels so that by the time I came out with my color and I was ready to go, my combs were there, my clips were there, everything was done and ready. I didn't have to go get it out, or I didn't have to tear foils in the back, or I didn't have to remix my lightener. They could do that while I was working on my client. So it really kept things organized and systematized. And if you're training your assistants to do these kind of things, you become like a well-oiled machine, and it just makes your life so much easier. It's way less steps that you have to think about, and you can really spend your time focusing in on your client and doing your job so well because your assistant is picking up all of those other things around you. Fourth thing is they help you do extra things. So maybe it's taking photos for your Instagram or getting video content for your Instagram. A lot of those things assistants can help you with. If you feel like you're not getting content for your Instagram, maybe you need a little bit of help, and you can train them on how to take photos, and chances are they actually might surprise you and get better content than what you've been getting yourself. Or they can help you, like I said, take those videos of your clients that you wouldn't be able to do by yourself, or you'd have to set up your tripod and put up your camera or put up your phone. It's like so much more work. An assistant can really help you do that. They could take Instagram stories throughout the day. They could do your Instagram stories. And again, going back to the mentoring and educating your assistants, you're training them on how you want things done for you and your business. It's such a great thing. They can schedule your clients for you. They can go get you Starbucks, get you lunch, go get you and your clients lunch, give your clients that extra touch of getting them coffee and making sure that they're set up in the processing area, doing extra long head massages. There's so many little extra things that you not only get to have because you have an assistant, but your clients get extra things too because somebody else is also taking care of them. So as you can see, having an assistant can make your life so much easier. And so often I hear stylists who are stressed out or overwhelmed or running behind or just literally working minute to minute to minute with every single client. And the reason why is because they just don't have help. And so I know that sometimes taking on an assistant can feel like a huge financial responsibility, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video. But at the end of the day, if it's making your life easier and less stressful throughout the day, and by the end of the day, you're not like frazzled because you've been so tightly wound trying to get to every single client, do every single thing, and wash all your bowls and do all the things. An assistant can take a lot of that stuff off your plate, and especially even off your mental plate. Like I said, you're not having to think about every single one of those little steps. Your assistant can step in and take care of a lot of those things. So at the end of the day, you actually feel like you accomplished something and you don't feel so stressed out. Now we come to the topic of, well, I want to hire an assistant. I think that this would be great for my business, but what are my clients going to think? Or is this going to ruin my client experience? I built up such a great relationship with my clients, I can't possibly have somebody else work on them. If you've ever thought that, let me know in the comment box below. I used to think that too. I used to think that I'm the only one that can do my clients, or my clients aren't going to want to have anybody else touch them except for me, and blah, blah, blah. We create these stories in our head, and actually, our clients really do love an assistant. And so my clients learned to love my assistants. They enjoyed their conversation with them. And in fact, sometimes I felt like they liked my assistant better than me. And it's because they created a relationship with them. And I picked the right assistant that really fit my energy, that fit my vibe, that really felt comfortable in the space. And I trained my assistant how to interact with my clients. There would be times where maybe my assistant would say something and I would tell them in the back room, hey, like that's not something that we talk about with clients. But those were things that I trained my assistant, and I would share with them, okay, when you're at the shampoo bowl with our clients, ask them these types of questions or get them interacting with you. And slowly but surely, they started to create a relationship with my assistant outside of me. And it actually took a lot of the pressure off of me because I wasn't having to be the one to entertain my client the whole time or really make sure that my client was taken care of. My assistant took care of that for me when I wasn't able to. And so it actually created less stress for me. I took off a lot of that pressure. Sometimes they would have a conversation and I would just get to listen. And so there were definitely moments like that where my clients loved having an assistant, and it's because I picked the right assistant to begin with. And in fact, when my assistants moved on, my clients were bummed. They were like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss having them around, because they loved their time with my assistants and they loved their conversation. So that's something that's really key, that we think that our clients aren't going to be happy or that it's going to detract from the client experience. And like I shared in this video, there's actually a lot of benefits to having an assistant that can add to the client experience, but it all comes back to how you train your assistant and making sure that you're creating those systems and strategies in place in your business so that everything does go smoothly. And one of the last really cool benefits of having an assistant is you get to learn how to be a teacher, an educator, and a mentor. So for those of you who are maybe wanting to go into education or wanting to teach a little bit more, having an assistant is a great place to start, because you're learning how to teach somebody the things that you know. So maybe it's different techniques, or how you run your business, or how you do your Instagram, or just different systems that you have in your business as a stylist. You're teaching them that as well. And so for those of you who want to go into education, it is such a great place to start, because you get that one-on-one relationship with somebody and you really grow as a stylist because you're teaching somebody else all the things that you know. And they say that when you have to teach somebody something else, that's when you actually really master it versus just doing it all day long. Yeah, you can get good at it, but when you have to teach somebody else, it makes your brain work in a different way, and you actually get way better at that particular thing, whatever it might be, because you had to explain it to somebody else. So hopefully that's a little bit more of a benefit of why, as an educator or as a mentor, it could be a really cool thing to have an assistant. So I'm gonna link to a video that I filmed a couple of years ago with my original assistant, Annie. I did like a little interview with her. We go into much more in depth of different things that she did for me, how we paid her, all of that fun stuff is in that video. So I will link it in the description box below. If you're looking to become an assistant or you're looking to hire an assistant, definitely watch that video, because it'll give you an idea of how we kind of had a relationship back and forth, and just different things that she did for me in the daily and what it kind of looked like as my assistant. Okay, so now you might be thinking, all right, Jamie, I'm ready to hire an assistant, but how the heck do I find one? And so there's a couple different ways that I recommend looking for an assistant. And so one of them can be simply putting something out on Instagram. Instagram is a great place. That's how I've always found my assistants. I put up a post, say, hey, I'm looking for an assistant, and people reach out to me. But you might be thinking, okay, well, I don't have a huge following. Maybe I don't have a lot of hairstylists that are following me. How do I still find somebody? So I would actually go on hashtags. I would go on hashtags that are local to me, for instance, OC Hairstylist, and I would look through people and I would ask around, hey, do you know of anybody who's looking for an assistant job? So Instagram can be a really great community to be able to find somebody. You could also ask different stylists in your area, different salons. Have you had anybody who's looking, or anybody that you had to turn away? It's a really great way to find somebody through Instagram. And the second place is go to beauty schools in your area and ask what some of the top students are, or some of the students who are the most involved in their school experience, and maybe ask to interview them. And maybe they're not ready to graduate yet, but they might be ready to graduate in a couple months, and maybe you could start the assisting process of them coming into your salon, maybe on nights or on weekends, or just different times that they're not in school, to really get a feel if they're going to be the right assistant for you. So schools are such a great place, and you can get some really great recommendations there. And then lastly, it comes down to the interview process. So I liked to be really thorough with my interviews. I wanted to make sure that I was really comfortable with them. So I would bring them into the salon because I wanted them to see the salon, see the environment that they were going to be working in. So once you've interviewed them, asked them all the questions that you want to ask them, shared with them what you're going to be offering and why you would be a great person to work for, I would actually have them come do a test day in the salon. So maybe it's a day when you're just working with clients, have them come in, have them see how you work, explain your processes, explain what you do behind the chair. And that's going to be a really great way for not only them to see what you do to make sure that you're a right fit for them, but for you to kind of get a feel of their personality and see if they're going to be a right fit for you. So test days in the salon are great. And as a new stylist, I would position it to them of like, hey, you're going to get an opportunity to see how a salon works and if this is going to be a right fit for you. So it's a win-win for everybody involved. And it really gives you an idea if somebody is going to be right for you or if they're not going to be the right fit, because not everybody's going to be the right fit, and that's okay. Oh man, so many different thoughts. I hope that this video was helpful for you guys. If you're looking to hire an assistant, maybe you weren't so sure, but maybe you watched this video and you're thinking, hey, I think I want to hire an assistant. I'd love to hear in the comments where you're at. Were you thinking about hiring an assistant, or are you convinced now to hire an assistant? I would love, love, love to hear. Last but not least, if you haven't already hit the subscribe button by now, go ahead and do so right now, because I do lots of videos like this on business advice and different techniques and everything you need to know as a hairstylist, because I want you to have a business and lifestyle you absolutely love, and I share lots of videos that you're not going to want to miss. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure to turn on the little bell, because if you do, you're going to be the first people to be notified when I post a new video every single week, and you're going to be one of the first ones to watch it. And I love my OGs who watch the videos first, so make sure to turn on that little bell. I don't know where it is. I think it's down here. Maybe it's down here. Whatever, click the bell. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it was helpful for you. I cannot wait to hear your stories of hiring your assistant, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.